You know the feeling you see a sleek black soundbar on a storefront page, glossy photos showing it hugging a massive TV, the description promising cinema-level dialogue and booming bass. You click add to cart because it looks like the missing piece for your movie night, only to discover weeks later that the dialogue sounds muffled, the bass feels thin, and the whole thing blends into the background rather than elevating it. That disappointment is real, and it's why I'm doing this deep dive before you spend a big chunk of cash on a sound system that might not live up to the hype. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's talk about the Bose SoundTouch 300. It's positioned as a premium soundbar that pairs style with performance, and it brings a few modern conveniences to the table: Alexa voice control, though you need a separate Alexa device, HDMI with 4K pass-through, Bluetooth with NFC pairing, and Wi-Fi streaming. On paper, it looks like it could replace a full home theater setup, but the real question is whether it delivers in the everyday scenarios you actually care about. First off, dialogue clarity. If you've ever tried to follow a fast-talking sitcom or a thriller with lots of whispered conspiracies, a soundbar that can separate speech from background noise is a game-changer. The SoundTouch 300 uses Bose's adapted audio room calibration, which scans the room and fine-tunes the output to reduce echo and focus mid-range frequencies. In a typical living room with a 65-inch TV and a couple of side walls, the calibration helped keep actors' lines crisp even when the soundtrack was busy. I tested it watching a crime drama where the main character whispers a clue while the score swells. The bar kept the whisper intelligible without you having to crank the volume, which is a practical win for anyone who doesn't want to shout over the TV. Bass performance is where the conversation often splits. The 300 on its own is a two-way speaker system, meaning the left and right channels each have a driver, but no dedicated subwoofer. That design keeps the unit slim and visually unobtrusive, but it also caps how low the bass can go. For a lot of movies, the rumble of an explosion or the thump of a car chase feels more like a gentle tap than a punch. Bose does offer the optional Acoustimus 300 wireless bass module, which slots in seamlessly and fills out the low end. If you're okay with modest, tight bass for dialogue-heavy content and occasional music, the bar alone is fine. If you want that cinema-style boom without adding a sub, you'll probably be left wanting. Surround effect is another selling point many ads tout, but it's more about perception than true multi-speaker immersion. The SoundTouch 300 uses virtual surround processing, pulling sound from the front speakers and bouncing it off the walls to simulate side and rear channels. In a medium-sized room, this trick works well for movies that are mixed for surround, giving you a sense that the action is moving around you. However, for gamers who rely on precise directional audio, the virtual surround can feel a bit soft compared to a dedicated 5.1 setup. If you're a casual gamer or mostly watch streamed content, you'll notice a pleasant widening of the soundstage. If you need pinpoint audio cues for competitive play, you might prefer a system with actual rear speakers. Room size matters because the bar's output is calibrated for spaces roughly 10 to 20 square meters. In a cramped studio apartment, the bar can dominate the space, and the bass already modest might sound boomy due to reflections. Conversely, in a larger open-plan living area, you may notice the high frequencies losing some presence as the sound has to travel farther. The built-in calibration does its best to adjust, but it can't turn a two-driver bar into a full-range system for a 30-plus square meter hall. If your TV sits in a standard living room, you're in the sweet spot. If your setup is unusually small or huge, consider a different solution. Now let's look at the connectivity side. The HDMI input supports 4K pass-through, so you can plug your console, streaming box, or Blu-ray player straight into the bar and still get pristine video on your TV. I ran a 4K HDR movie through the bar and didn't notice any latency or picture degradation, exactly what you'd expect. The Bluetooth with NFC pairing makes it a breeze to drop a phone on the couch, tap the bar, and start a playlist while you're cooking. Wi-Fi streaming works with the Bose Music app, letting you pull music from services like Spotify or Pandora without any extra cables. The only hiccup I ran into was that the remote, while sleek, has a few button layers that feel a bit sticky at first. Switching inputs requires a press and hold, which can be confusing if you're used to a one-tap press. It's not a deal breaker, but it adds a tiny learning curve. The Alexa integration is attractive for anyone already embedded in the Amazon ecosystem. You can ask Alexa to change the volume, switch inputs, or play a specific